Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today, a day late, but better late than never, we're going to take a look at the very cool but kind of short discography of U.S. stoner rock, metal, doom, psychedelic, southern rock band Down. Basically kind of a supergroup of some very notable cats, right? We got Phil Anselmo from Pantera and Superjoint Ritual. You got guitarist Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity, guitarist Kirk Weinstein from Crowbar, bassist Pat Bruders from Goatwhore, and drummer Jimmy Bauer from Crowbar, Eyehategod, Superjoint Ritual. There have been other guys who have been in and out of the band over the years, but that's kind of like the somewhat current configuration of the group, who have been, inactive in recent years. But they're one of those bands that because they've got so much stuff going on with other acts, they kind of resurface like every 4 or 5 years or something like that. Put out a kick-ass album, maybe do a little bit of touring, and then go back to their other projects and reconvene in a couple of years. So that's kind of been the story for these guys since they formed in 1995. I will say we're looking at 3 full lengths and 2 what are called EPs, although the EPs, 6 songs each, 30 plus minutes of music. I think they qualify as, I'm going to qualify them for this particular episode because they play as regular, regular full-length albums pretty close, and the 2 EPs were released like 2 years apart from each other. So, would it have made sense to kind of wait and release them all in one set? Yeah, I don't know. I think they work well on their own. Like I said, 6 songs, roughly a half hour each. It's okay by me, So, like I said, I dig all of these. This was kind of hard to rank because I've been a big fan of the band, and I love this kind of style of metal, this kind of doomy stoner type thing. But these guys have a lot of kind of blues roots, a lot of psych roots, and more importantly, there's always like this kind of southern rock vibe that's kind of permeating underneath the heaviness. So, dig this band a lot. So, but I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite, although least favorite is a very loose term because even the one that's going to come in at number 5, I dig quite a bit. I like them all. So, they're all good. Check them all out. But obviously, there's like 1 or 2 that are kind of head and shoulders above the rest. So, but anyway, let's get started. Coming in at number 5 from 2014. It's the most recent thing they've done. It's Down 4 Part 2. Again, Down 4, they split up into 2 EPs, so roughly each one has 6 tracks, roughly half hour on each. Kind of the packaging on these is, they don't say a hell of a lot. All right, there's the guys right there, but pretty heavy stuff. I find that the 2 EPs are pretty kind of like pulverizing. They're both really heavy. There's not a lot of, some of their earlier albums mix some kind of like, psychedelic stuff, some like kind of swampy southern rock things, more melodic fare. The 2 EPs just kind of like bash you over the head with crushing stoner heaviness. And I don't mind that, right? It's like these guys obviously worship at the altar of Black Sabbath and Saint Vitus and Pentagram, and that's okay with me, right? So here you got Steeple is a killer tune. Conjure is excellent. Just, those are just 2 out of the 4, but all really good. Kirk is not actually on this one. He kind of stepped away from the band to just, do the Crowbar thing for a while, so they got another guy in the band, but Kirk has since mended fences and said he will be part of any future Down stuff that happens, which is really cool because in my mind, you got to have Pepper, you got to have Kirk. That guitar team makes up the sound of Down. But a really good EP album, whatever you want to call it, comes at number 5, but it's pretty excellent. Coming in at number 4, we're going to go with 2002 Down to A Bustle in Your Hedgerow. And if you would have asked if we would have done this little exercise like maybe 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have ranked this a little higher. I have since kind of changed my tune a little bit to this album, whereas it used to be one of my favorite Down releases. Now it's like I appreciate the diversity on this album. This is a very different album from all the other ones. There's a lot of freaking songs. There's like 15 tracks on here. I would have trimmed at least 4 of them off. Not that the 4 that I would trim are terrible, but it's just you get a little fatigue with this album. Saying that, however, there are some really good songs on here. Ghosts Along the Mississippi, Where I'm Going is kick-ass. New Orleans is a Dying Whore, heavy as all hell. Lysergic Funeral Procession is really good. Landing on the Mountains of Megiddo. There are some good tunes on here, but there's like way too many kind of swampy, kind of like bluesy, southerny, acoustic type things on here where they just kind of ramble a little bit. But good production. Like I said, I dig the variety. For me, a little bit too many songs, a little too disjointed, just a little bit too much, almost too much variety. Even though I can appreciate it, but I dig the album. All right, don't want it to sound like I don't like this album. I do. I don't maybe appreciate it as much as I used to, or as much as the ones that are going to come next. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. So coming in at number 3 from 2012, Down 4 Part 1. This has got some killer riffs on it. This is like one of those like 6-song EPs that you just don't want to end. Everything on here is just great. Levitation, Witch Tripper, just crushes. Some just absolutely massive riffs on here. Open Coffins, Misfortune Teller. This work is timeless, and The Curse in a Lie, just top to bottom, kick-ass. I was listening to this yesterday. I'm like, God, I forgot how good this is, and it doesn't let up. It's just like one steamrolling stonery doom track after another. If you love like Master of Reality era Sabbath or any of those early like St. Vitus albums or Pentagram albums, phew, that's what this shit is all about, people. All right, coming at number 2. Again, this one has kind of risen over the years. So like I said, around the time where when this album came out, I did not rank this or kind of like it as much as the second album, but in more recent times I actually adore this one. This is Down 3 Over the Under. Another pretty steamrolling affair here. A lot of great tracks on here. NOD, I'm telling you, The Path, Pyramid. I mean, just the groovalicious heavy riffs on here are just absolutely killer. On March the Saints, Mourn, Beneath the Ties. How about Nothing in Return, Walk Away. And coming right before it, In the Thrall of It All, which is this totally cool kind of like space rock psychedelic mind trip, and then it goes into the massive doomy sledgehammer riffing of Nothing in Return with some really kind of anguished vocals from Phil. Just a killer album. Dig it a lot. But still, in my opinion, nothing this band has done has topped the debut. NOLA from 1995. Great stuff. It's amazing it took them 7 years to come up with a follow-up to this. This is just a killer album, and it's just the production is just massive from the band and Matt Thomas. Huge guitar riffs on this album. Man, oh man. This, for me, it's like, when I first heard this album, I was like, man, that's like some of the biggest sounding guitar riffs since like Pantera. Because, Pantera, this is mid-90s here. So, Pantera were basically ruling the metal roost in the early part of the 90s. And then Phil broke off to do this project. And, telling you, great stuff. Temptation's Wings. That killer. Just amazing. Lifer. There's so many classics on here. Pillars of Eternity. Rehab. Hail the Leaf. Underneath Everything. Eyes of the South, Jail, Losing All. Man, so good. The one song that actually was an MTV video and actually, was somewhat of a hit on MTV for them, Stone the Crow, which is a great song. It's so catchy. It's kind of unlike anything else they've ever done. That was like the song that kind of got them a little bit of, mainstream, attention. Very, very catchy song, but still pretty damn heavy. What else? Pray for the Locust and Swan Song. Oh, as well as Bury Me in Smoke. Forgot about that. So, again, the image of the band, spark up a bowl, crank up the tunes. That's kind of what they were going for. And, if you like that sort of thing, That's what these guys are all about, and but really heavy, tons of groove. Hooks, though, right, which is important. So there you have it, the 5-song discography, studio discography of Down. NOLA, starting it all off. Over the Under, Down 3. Down 4, Part 1. Down 2, A Bustle in Your Hedgerow. And Down 4, Part 2. Okay, but they're all great if you have not listened to Down, but kind of like I said, you like early 70s Sabbath, you like Pentagram, you like St. Vitus, you like that kind of doomy thing. I urge you to just get any of these. They're all great. Start with the first one. The third one is great, but they're all fantastic. They're all a must-have. You're not going to spend a lot of money trying to get these, and well worth having. Fun band to listen to. Great band to headbang to, and like I said, if you like to do that other stuff, well, I've heard they're pretty cool to do that too as well. Not that I condone that, just saying. Everybody likes what they like. So anyway, this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up, ranking the studio catalog of Sweet as a nice little tribute to their former bassist, Steve Priest, who passed away yesterday. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.